Michael Burnoff on human interaction technology, coming up right now on the Boost Your Practice Show. Hello everybody, welcome to another session of the Boost Your Practice Show, where we help you build your business in 12 minutes or less every business day. My name is Ken Krell. I am your host. I am delighted to be with you today and every day as we give you at least one tool, technique, tip, strategy, helping hand on how to build and boost your practice to make it a more fun, sensational, and exciting way of building, where we give you at least one aha tip, actionable thing that you can put to use in your practice, in your business every single day. So we have got a great show for you today. And before we get to Michael Burnoff, who is an incredibly energetic fireball of information on human interaction technology, and this is important for your business because as you talk to patients and potential patients and your staff, you need to know how your message comes across and how you can have far more impact. And my friend Michael Burnoff will help take you there. We did this interview a few months ago, and I wanted to share with you segments of the interview because it was so sensational. We will have the full interview available for you in the members area for our Boost Your Practice Show members. So look in the members area. You'll see that posted very shortly if it's not there already. Now, if you have not heard about our Total Practice Makeover program, you've got to hear about it. People have been so excited about TPM. Total Practice Makeover is a 10-part series going through the fundamentals of your business and how you can fine-tune it to improve it and exponentially grow your business. You can get it absolutely free. I'll tell you more at the end of the show. So stick around. We're going to bring on Mr. Michael Burnoff in just 1 second. So my guest today is Michael Burnoff. You'll be hearing a little bit of the introduction as we cut to the interview. But I want to tell you, I have been a friend of Michael Burnoff for a long time. We brought him on to our World Speakers Conference, our World Speaker Summit, about a year or so ago, and Michael slayed it. He gave a presentation that blew me away, and I knew this is a gentleman that I needed to hang out with and learn from, and he is tremendous. I have traveled thousands upon thousands of miles and days of my time. Remember, I live in Thailand, so coming over to the States, to Arizona, to Scottsdale to spend time with Michael is one of those things that makes a major commitment. Anyway, so Michael and I have become good friends, he and his family and I've spent a bunch of time in his programs. They are totally tremendous, and if you can get into one of his programs, because they're usually all sold out, you want to do that for your business. He does serve a lot of wellness professionals because he resonates with that sort of an individual. So without further ado, let's bring on Michael Burnoff. First of all, say good morning, Michael, and it's very early for you in Phoenix. Thanks for doing this.
No challenge, and I appreciate you.
Michael, well, I guess we should really talk. Let me just have you just kind of give everybody an idea of what exactly HIT is and why people need to be part of it, and let's just have that conversation.
Perfect. And it was interesting because both you and I have the NLP background, and for those of you that aren't familiar with NLP, it was something that I know like Anthony Robbins had made famous back in the 80s. NLP is one of those. It's a peculiar and I'm going to say unique science, and it's really the ability to use your words to affect yours and other people's nervous system in a very, very compelling way. Back in the late 1990s, I had attended one of the developers of NLP had put together some courses, classes, what they called certifications at the time, and I was at the point in my life where 20 days of my life, no big deal, 11 days for this, 11 days for that, no big deal. But I realized down the road as I put together my own opportunity for people to learn this information, I said, people really just don't have 11 days anymore. We're already like tied up with 1,000 things. Get your phone ringing off the hook. People have kids, families, all sorts of stuff. And on top of that, a lot of the information they teach is extremely valuable, yet less pertinent to the business owner, less pertinent to the day-to-day activities. So we put together in the last 3 years something very interesting. And the reason I developed it was because my students were asking for it. They said, Michael, you do such quick change work with people. You get people to take massive action in their life. They've been held back for procrastination for years. You rewrite people's presentations. It was funny, you and I had discussed a human that you and I both know, and she had, turned I'd never sold this high-end product before into I believe like a $35,000 day that she had made in a matter of a few conversations using this technology. And I get that all the time. So we put together something really, really powerful back in 2010, and all I ever have done before is run it with our students. You know, people that are inside my world, people that say, Michael, I want to do what you do. I've never promoted it, never talked about it. This is the first time officially I've ever done this. Hundreds and hundreds of people have been through the material. And when we started off, and you mentioned 5 days, it was a 5-day curriculum, we found a way to make it even easier for you. We stretched the days a tad bit longer, and it is 5 days of your time you're going to need to make this work, yet the curriculum is going to be 4 days. So depending where you're flying from, 4 days long, solid, total info-packed days of learning how to influence yourself and other people, take actions, how your brain really works, learn how to really reprogram. And I'm going to use that word for very loosely right now, is really programming your brain to understand what things actually mean. Because what's interesting, a lot of times people get on a conference call like this and they get a little nervous beforehand. Well, I get nervous too, but nervous means time to get started, where a lot of people, nervous means shut down. A lot of people, they look at things they need to do, like make more money. They look at their bank account. It usually stops them when they freak out. How to rewire your brain so, hey, the money I don't see in there, that's not in there, shouldn't stop you. It should actually get you inspired, get you excited, because really HIT, human interaction technology, is the study, the understanding, and really the ability to apply what successful people do in the area of communication to get massive, massive, massive results in their life. And I'll explain more in the future, but who this is for, it's truly for someone who is at a point in their life that says, I want some upper level information, some really, really total different ninja style techniques on how to communicate with myself and others to get past challenges and habits and stuff I do not want to have in my life anymore. And I want to do it fast. I want to do it furious. I want to make it happen. And people that are the type of people that say, I communicate with other people, I speak on stage, I do conference calls, I meet with people, and it's a completely different language pattern. One of the funny things is, Ken, yesterday I had a gentleman who called me. He said, I've taken material like this before. I'm not sure it's right for me. And he called me, and he put me through the ringer for about 10 minutes, and he goes, okay, I was just testing to see if the stuff really worked. If you can keep me convinced, man, you're really good. So it was really, really, really funny. And I'm like, why did you do that? Why didn't you tell me in advance? I would have taught you at the course. But he was just kind of messing with me. Yeah. And it's one of those things that you don't walk out of there. Remember, it's a certification. You don't walk out of there knowing something. You already walk out of there doing it. And that's where our material differs, because it's complete unconscious reprogramming. It's friggin' phenomenal. So that is 3 minutes explanation of the last 11 years and the obsession of my life, and that hardly breaks the surface.
Okay, well, let's talk for a second. What I'm looking to get out of HIT is coming to Arizona and walking out with a way to be a much better communicator, so that my message is received in a way that gets results for people. Unless someone buys my stuff, whatever that stuff is, they're not going to be able to, and applies it, they're not going to get any results. And unless I can get someone to get my stuff, then we don't get anywhere. And it's the same thing for you guys. The reason why I want you guys there is because every single person that comes to one of our events, one of our online events, and eventually physical events, you're coming because you want to make a change in your life. You're coming because generally you want more money, and the more money is going to buy you the freedom that you say you want and give you the lifestyle that you say you want. So why not shortcut that, and why not? Because I think the biggest obstacle, first of all, is inside of us, number one, but also you got to sell somebody something. No one gets paid until there's a sale. So why don't we talk about that, Michael?
Yeah, Ken, you brought up a major piece of this, and being the fact that all of us here in business, we either are in the process of product creation, product selling, product delivery. On two fronts, this is really, really, really huge. How well you connect. And I don't mean people like you. Forget the whole people like you thing. That's great. That happens after connection. If you connect with them and then they like you, that's great. But if they like you and don't connect with you, it's useless. Yeah. Okay, it's the whole just teach people how to get them to like you, talk about their shoes really is so old school and so outdated, everybody sees through it. Yeah. So really what HIT does from two fronts. One, how to grab a human being's attention in a way that gets past that block then the only reason that block is really there is a conscious program that they got set up by their parents, their grandparents, their mother, the sister, the brother, how to get into their mind in a way that's, like you said, ethical, in a way that is so powerful. They say, you know what, I'm going to open up my mind right now, hear what you have to say, make a decision, purchase your product, and speak to them in a way where it just becomes logical. I'll explain that to you in a second. Secondly is when you're delivering content to people. And you'll notice this as you listen to me right now. I'll send you a little video later, you guys, you can watch. People will watch and listen to me for hours on end. I had a woman recently say, Michael, I'd listen to you talk about pine cones for hours, and afterwards if you're selling them, I would pick them up. And the reason why is if you speak to people in a way that the mind understands, what happens is they'll listen to you for hours and they become raving fans. So part of the program, part of the curriculum is you're going to develop content in a way that you're going to have it total, the whole weekend builds up. I'm not going to give it all away right now. But what happens is the whole weekend builds up for a concept that I've taken the shyest introvert in the entire world to get up in front of a room. And they had the ability to get over a little fear that they had of speaking, to get to the point where they could sell a product they invented 5 minutes earlier, and if they wanted to market it, anybody in the room would have bought it right there and then. And these are not salespeople. That was not a salesperson. That was a guy who was just starting business, never really done anything like this in his life. It's the ability to deliver content in a way that the mind really desires to hear. I had a good friend of ours, and I'm sure he has no issue with me sharing this. He's a very large internet marketer. He sent a good testimonial about this, a guy that invented Mind movies, my good friend Glenn.
Yeah.
And he had contacted me. He was out in Australia, and he said, Michael, I got a fear of public speaking. Here's the challenge. I have to speak at Underground for Yannick Silver next week or 2 weeks from now. Can you help me? And I never really knew him in my life. He's a great friend now. One of our buddies, another internet marketer, introduced us. He flies out to Phoenix. I use HIT with him to get him over his fear of public speaking in about 10 minutes. 40-something years of his life, it's been impacting him. We get over it in about 10, 15 minutes. He doesn't know what happened, but it's not there. The next day, I taught him the skills that I teach at HIT, how to develop, deliver a presentation, and it was the second run-through. The first run-through was just talking about it. I brought my whole staff in there, threw him on the spot. I won't do this to you guys, but I threw him on the spot. I said, get started. 10 minutes into his presentation, I stopped him, and I asked my staff what they thought, and they said, that's great. How many years have you been speaking, Matt? He said, well, in 10 minutes, it'll officially be 10 minutes I've been doing this. And what was amazing was he impacted everyone. He had their jaws dropping to the floor. He had them laughing, and here was a guy that was uncomfortable. Then he went out a couple weeks later. I saw the video of it. When he spoke on stage, it was one of the most amazing things because it was like a proud parent watching one of his kids do something amazing. But the coolest part about it is he grabbed 500 people in the audience, grabbed them by the jugular for 45 minutes. Okay, he had their attention. Now, if he was able to sell there right there and then, you would have been talking about a multiple six-figure day. And that's what I'm excited about for you guys is the ability to do that. Here was a guy freaked out about something, able to turn it into anything he wanted. So what I'm getting at for you guys, this is not a magic cure, but in a way it really is. It's really the structure of how communication works. It's not a bunch of 10 pillars of this and logic and BS. You're going to walk out of this knowing how to do it, knowing how to perform all of these things and have done them for days straight, so it'll start to get integrated in your life almost immediately. So I know I went on a little long there. I shared an extra story or two, yet that's really where it comes in. The way you deliver to people, to get them to you, to sell, and also, really importantly, to deliver your content, your webinars, your teleseminars, your products, your videos, things you make so you can speak in a way like I am now where you're driven to say, you know what? Your head's bobbing up and down right now. I know your heads are bobbing up and down, no matter what part of the world you're in right now. I want you to be able to release those chemicals in people's brains, their dopamine, their norepinephrine, their serotonin, get their focus going, get their excitement going, so they will feel more attracted to you and want to do business with you.
There's a lot more of Michael Burnoff coming up over the next 2 weeks, and after we're finished with those segments, the entire interview will be published to the Boost Your Practice Show members area. And to get access to that, you want to go to BYPshow.com. That's boostyourpracticeshow.com, either one, BYPshow.com or the long one, boostyourpracticeshow.com, to get access to our programs, all of our programs. There's only one show per week is posted on iTunes for the general public. To be able to do that, join us and get a 7-day free trial of the program. They're banging away to come into that members area right now, if you can hear the noise in the background. But come and join us at bypshow.com, and when you do, you'll get access during that 7 days to the first module of the Total Practice Makeover System. When you join us, then you get the entire Total Practice Makeover System absolutely free. Coming up tomorrow, Dr. Marcus Chacos on how he built his practice from zero to world class. Watch his transformation tomorrow.